Gina Carano did nothing wrong. Carano was fired by Disney after the woke mob stirred up contrived outrage over her Instagram post. So what did she say? The now deleted Instagram story showed a picture of a Jewish woman being persecuted by Nazis and said, "Jews were beaten in the streets not by Nazi soldiers but by their neighbours, even by children." Because history is edited, most people today don't realise that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could have rounded up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbours hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? And this was the immediate reaction. The fact is, Carano is completely correct. Time and time again, history tells us that genocides and massacres are preceded by the dehumanization of the target population. The media is literally characterizing Trump supporters as domestic terrorists who should be killed by drone strikes. How is that not dehumanization? Prominent figures are calling for conservatives to be sent to re-education camps. How is that not dehumanization? Reza Aslan called for Trump supporters to be eradicated from society. How is that not dehumanization? Leftists routinely incite, support, and celebrate Trump supporters being beaten and murdered in the streets. How is that not dehumanization? The left calls Carano anti-Semitic for pointing out that Jews were dehumanized before they were slaughtered. Then they dehumanize and incite mass violence against people for their political beliefs, exactly as Carano said. It's okay when we do it. They're offended over her using a historical Nazi analogy, when the left routinely abuses the Nazi analogy all the time by calling conservatives Nazis in order to dehumanize them. It's okay when we do it. Disney-owned Lucasfilm has the nerve to call Carano's Instagram post abhorrent. I'll tell you what's abhorrent. Disney collaborating with the genocidal security services in Xinjiang while filming Mulan. That's abhorrent. Working with a regime that incarcerates entire populations in forced labor camps. That's abhorrent. Disney ignored congressional demands to know if it used slave labor in making Mulan. That's abhorrent. And you're mad at Carano over an Instagram post. Give me a break. You're calling Carano racist for making an accurate historical comparison, while saying nothing about Disney whitewashing John Boyega's Star Wars character out of their Chinese market poster to please the market. Didn't give a shit about that, did you? Disney fired Gina Carano for a social media post in which she told the truth, yet they rehired James Gunn after he made social media posts joking about rape and pedophilia. The mob isn't mad at Carano because they're genuinely offended over anti-Semitism. That's just the excuse they exploited to get her cancelled. They're mad at her because she's a celebrity who hasn't been bullied and intimidated into amplifying their demented, hysterical agenda. They're mad at her because she's a conservative. They're mad at her because she posted some memes on Twitter making fun of face masks. Oh, the absolute horror! They're mad at her because she called for a clean and fair election system. They're mad at her because she previously expressed support for President Trump. They're mad at her because she called out so-called anti-racist activists as cowards and bullies. They're mad at her because, wait for it, she didn't post anything online supportive of Black Lives Matter. Oh, the absolute horror! She didn't post the black square! They're mad at her because in a world of insipid conformity and ruthless ideological servility, she has the bravado to think for herself. The absolute horror. To the mob, Gina Carano represents the threat of a good example, and that's why she must be cancelled. As a warning to other celebrities who dare even think about challenging their cultural colonization. This is what happens when you defy our social hegemony. This is what happens when you dare stand up for those we have worked so hard to dehumanize. Remember, the same people who say cancel culture doesn't exist weaponize it at every available opportunity as a means of achieving their dystopian nightmare. A nightmare in which organized hordes of ideological jihadists wield the power to banish nonconformists to the fringes of society, having deplatformed, silenced, and destroyed their reputations. Their behavior mimics every top-down authoritarian tyranny in history. So Carano was completely right and morally justified to call it out. So sit down, haters, because Gina Carano did nothing wrong. It's absolutely crucial for you to help me fight the war on free speech by supporting me via Subscribe Star, link in description. and also signing up for my free newsletter at summit.news/newsletter.